A very good morning to you and to you all joining us from across the country. My name is Marie Ambo and I'll be bringing you up to speed with all matters news, including business and sports. And also remember, the King and Queen of Netherlands are still in the country, and we'll be bringing you updates on what will be happening today. Yesterday, President William Ruto did actually host the King and Queen to a state banquet. Today they'll be in Naivasha. Well, they'll be attending an economic forum. All that will be coming, your way. My colleagues will be there to bring up to speed with what will be happening there. So we want to start with our first story, where Meru political and cultural leaders, have supported. I beg your pardon, doctors in the country are threatening to withdraw their services starting May the 9th should the government fail to address what they have termed as declining healthcare system and failure by the Ministry of Health to post medical interns. Meanwhile, health workers, including clinicians, UHC staff and laboratory technicians, also joined the doctors in demanding that the government resolves inefficiencies associated with the Social Health Authority platform. And as Joseph Okungu now reports, the Senate has vowed to urgently address the health workers' complaints.
For the better part of Tuesday, medics and intern doctors took to the streets of Nairobi in agitation for better working conditions. Led by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union Secretary General Dr. Dav Jetela, the medics marched from Kenyatta National Hospital to Social Health Authority offices in demand for the streamlining of services offered by the health insurance scheme.
We have more doctors, like the doctor said from Kiambu, who has been having stage 4 lung cancer. This doctor has been faithfully managed by NHIF. But from October, this doctor has been paying out of pocket to get care. We have another doctor again who is currently admitted in ICU in KNH. This doctor was to be discharged for home-based care. But again, we have to do another contributions. So yeah, we keep on wondering, who is SHA covering? That is our biggest concern. Who is it?
The health workers, who also presented their petition at the Ministry of Health, lamented over the delayed posting of intern doctors while threatening to down their tools in May should the matter remain unresolved. Claims of the government refusal to absorb on permanent and pensionable terms over 8,000 medics, including clinical officers and laboratory technicians who were in 2020 employed under the universal health coverage, also took center stage.
For avoidance of doubt, because there are people who are saying that the strike of the UHC was called off. The UHC strike for clinic officers under the UHC program was not called off, and they are still on strike. And they should not be victimized because they are exercising their rights under Article 41 of the Constitution as well as the Labor Relations Act.
Speaking after receiving their petition at Parliament buildings, Senate Deputy Speaker Kathure Murungi vowed that the Senate will have their issues expedited in order to forestall the disruption of medical services. His sentiments were echoed by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna.
We shall handle this petition for you, na sisi ndio tumejitolea tukaambiwa na speaker tukuja tuchukue. So I mean, you should really believe that hii kitu iko kwa mikono sawa sawa, si ndio? Now we shall make sure whatever it takes to make sure that all these matters have been addressed by the Senate.
Once again, these health practitioners have taken to the streets of Nairobi, asking the government to prioritize their calls to ensure that they are able to offer better health services to Kenyans seeking medical services in health centers across the country.
Thank you, Joseph Okungu, for that report. We still are on health matters, where health experts drawn from different parts of the African region have emphasized the need for multi-sectoral approach to address health inequities to achieve universal health coverage. This is after it emerged that at least half of the global population is grappling with access to quality health services as a result of a series of challenges, among them affordability, accessibility, and health illiteracy.
The Ministry of Health, in partnership with other health stakeholders drawn from different parts of Africa, on Tuesday met for the first Regional Health Promotion Conference to discuss solutions and policies that will make health systems equitable. It is at this forum where challenges facing the Social Health Authority took the center stage.
And as opposed to when we used to have Linda Mama, nobody can use somebody else's ID. So most women in Kilifi County are not able to access the health services simply because they are not registered in SHA. For instance, we are having, every year we are having around 180 to 200 teenagers below 14 years. Those are people who can never get IDs.
Delegates also highlighted health illiteracy as a major challenge, hindering the attainment of universal health coverage.
Now that we are looking at the power of youth in changing things around, we need to involve them in also changing the health behaviors. So there are a lot of youth here. They're actually we've given them some leadership in even ushering and giving people information.
So when we are talking about universal health coverage, and we are talking about sexual and reproductive health and rights, some people do not want to bring that in. We should come open, talk about these issues, because then we will have a future that is free, that is informed, that knows what it wants.
Under the theme Empowering Communities for Inclusive Universal Health Coverage through Intersectional Approach, delegates urged the government to invest more in primary health care.
Those community health volunteers in other countries, these extension promoters in Ethiopia, they are the ones who were there, and that's why we're talking about primary health care. That's where we need to put our effort, our investment, to be able to build it. You don't want to be in Maseno and having to go all the way to Kisumu to get a treatment. Why?
With a section of Kenya still grappling to access universal health coverage, regional health experts converged here in Nairobi to find a long-lasting solution that will make healthcare not only accessible and inclusive, but also affordable.
Thank you, Kasichana Masha. And still, the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council has urged HIV patients to desist from hoarding drugs. According to the council's acting chief executive director, Douglas Bosire, the country has enough stock of antiretroviral drugs, hence no need to panic despite reduced donor aid.
The government is assuring HIV patients that the country is not in a crisis and that there are adequate drugs and commodities to cater for the over 1.3 million people living with HIV and AIDS.
We can reassure Kenyans the stability of the pipeline, especially of antiretroviral drugs across the country. There is no need for panic.
The government should take care of us, because this kind of panic can kill somebody. Yeah, there's the panic can bring down the CD4, you know, and because people are so scared, that is why they panic. Some of them are not taking medication. But the government can get us away from that. They can be able to purchase the antiretroviral medicines and be in charge of our supply chain. Let the partners do other things.
Although HIV patients are being encouraged to visit facilities for medication, they are also being discouraged against hoarding the drugs.
There's no need of clients who are on ART treatment moving obnobbing from one facility to another to stockpile. And when you do that, also you tend to distort the supply chain, because you'll deplete the stocks that are in one facility before they are refilled.
This comes as the National Syndemic Disease Control Council has embarked on community engagement as it seeks to develop the 2025-2030 strategic framework by the end of this financial year. The framework will, among other things, steer Kenya towards its goal of ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
It has to have sustainable solutions. It has to be mostly domestically funded. The other ones were previously very donor heavy dependent, and we have seen what has happened with donor dependency.
Integration is the only way to go around these issues. We have seen funding being cut down by the donor community, and even when they were there, the funds were still going down.
We will have county implementation plans for the syndemic diseases, which take into consideration significantly the aspect of sustaining the gains that we have made over the years.
Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary, that is William Kabogo, has temporarily stopped investment of 9 billion shillings in the modernization of KBC awaiting reforms. Appearing before the Senate's ICT committee, the CS Kabogo said the government will first clean up ghost workers and address staff redundancy and wastage of resources before pumping money to revamp the corporation. The Cabinet Secretary is optimistic the fruits of the reforms at KBC will be realized within the next 60 days.
Plans to invest 9 billion shillings in revamping and modernizing Kenyan Broadcasting Corporation KBC have been put on hold, awaiting reforms. Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo told senators the state broadcaster was in a mess and pumping money before cleaning up would only lead to more wastage of public funds.
We clean up first before we start looking for monies to pump into KBC and Postal Corporation. Of course, Posta has a money-making idea, which we are going through now, and we hope once it's taken to Cabinet and approved, it shall take this corporation out of the situation it is now. But
the 9 billion shillings investment aimed at upgrading broadcasting technology, improving infrastructure and expanding service reach. The Cabinet Secretary is confident the fruits of reforms will start being realized within 2 months.
KBC is in a total mess, and we are hoping that once we can clean up even the issue of ghost workers, etc., we should be able to restructure it. We are putting in a cabinet memo on how to restructure these two organizations because they may require some executive authority of cabinet.
The ICT Ministry has also decried ballooning pending bills occasioned by budgetary cuts in the supplementary budget. Pending bills for the State Department for Broadcasting and Telecommunications stand at 117 billion shillings, out of which 108 billion shillings are owed to KBC for statutory deductions.
Kevin Washira reporting. Now to Meru, where political leaders in Meru County, including lawmakers and cultural figures, have declared an end to their long-standing political offensive following the successful removal of Kawira Mwangaza. The leaders, who openly admitted to playing a key role in her ouster, celebrated the swearing-in of Isaac Mutuma as the 4th governor of Meru County, an event that laid bare the intense political battles and rivalries that have defined the region. Give us a minor with more.
The impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza and the subsequent inauguration of Isaac Mutuma as the 4th governor of Meru County appear to have forged a rare unity among the region's political, religious and cultural leadership. Prominent figures at the ceremony included area members of parliament, Senator Kaduri Murungi, former Governor Kiretu Murungi, religious leaders and the influential Meru Council of Elders.
Safari tulianza kitambo. Mwenyezi Mungu ameturudishia maombi yetu. Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
In a striking display of triumph, several leaders openly admitted to their involvement in Mwangaza's removal, some even boasting their role in what they termed as a necessary intervention to restore stability in the county.
Nilikuwa na organize mambo mengi na wabunge, wamefanya kazi mzuri. Bwana Mboro Wabori asante sana, Bwana Dr. Mweti asante sana, Bwana Kere asante sana.
Hii vita ilikuwa na watu wengi, wana hewa, wana maji, watu wa vita ardhini na kila mtu.
Mama asiwe na wasiwasi. Nitamuonyesha bila atafurahi akiwa nyumbani. Eti ya kwamba Mporo mtu aburu ndiye alimtoa Munya, akamweka Kireito, akamtoa, akamweka Kawira Mwangaza, akamtoa. Na wasaizi nimeleta kijana mpendwa, rafiki yetu namba 1, Bwana Mutuma.
Na mheshimiwa Rendi kuambia asante sana kwa sababu ulisimama na sisi.
The Meru Council of Elders, known as Njuri Ncheke, did not mince their words.
Na watu wanapika na kubona mpaka ukapata ngabana. Tunakuomba Bwana Mutuma, kama wazee sisi umezaliwa na mzee Twedingia, alikuwa anaongoza Meru hii.
With their mission accomplished, the elders and other leaders announced an end to the political hostilities, declaring that their primary target had been neutralized.
Tumefika mwisho ya safari leo. Kila mtu sasa arudi kwa ofisi yake. Mimi narudi Senate kuendelea na kazi yangu. Mutuma, there is time for everything. There was time to fight. I think we have won it. Now it is time to lead.
Meanwhile, Governor Isaac Mutuma, in his maiden speech, called for unity and reconciliation.
From politics to business, French oil giant Rubis Energy will invest 6 billion shillings in National Oil Corporation through a strategic partnership aimed at turning around the financial fortunes of the state-owned oil and gas company. NOC Managing Director Gideon Morin-Tat has told KBC Channel 1 that the cash the cash injections will be spent on modernizing, rebranding and restocking National Oil Company. Trevor Ngendo brings us more details on that.
Once a giant in Kenya's upstream and downstream petroleum business, National Oil Corporation is now a pale shadow of its former self. The company, with 119 gas stations, has seen its market share shrink to 2.2% as of December 2022 from 9.3% in 2012 due to unavailability of stock. National Oil Corporation's credit line was suspended in 2019 after it failed to service a 7.8 billion shillings debt with the Kenya Commercial Bank. In 2019, the government embarked on getting a strategic equity investor to save the oil company.
We have been in a struggle. Of course, NOC is a strong horse, but it's limping. We have been financially crippled by that huge debt.
Today, French giant Rubis Energy, through its local subsidiary Rubis Energy Kenya, has announced a plan to invest 6 billion shillings, throwing a financial lifeline to the struggling corporation.
We are two parts. We are helping in rebranding sites, developing sites, but we're also helping in terms of working capital to help the business to start running, buying the fuel, having the fuel, bringing our expertise in terms of management, training for the employees.
The two companies will share profit on a 60-40 basis in favor of the National Oil Corporation. The investment, however, will not be used to finance its total debt, which now stands at 7.2 billion shillings.
It means that we are going to rebound back to profitability. Our volumes in terms of throughput and sales to the customers is going to increase. We are also looking at this partnership as an important catalyst to the growth of NOC, in that it is going to help us.
The partnership, which is a government-approved collaboration, will enable National Oil Corporation to access financial resources from Rubis without selling a stake in the company.
Now, the Kenya Pipeline Company has begun evicting illegal squatters on pipeline wayleave across the country. The process, the parastatal says, is aimed at protecting vital oil infrastructure and mitigating safe risks. Kenya Pipeline Company wayleave manager, that is Stanley Manduku, says the evictions are expected to impact hundreds of households that have settled on pipeline land over the past 25 years.
The multi-agency operation being carried out by the Kenya Pipeline Company, National Government Administrative Office, Kenya Urban Roads Authority and Kenya Railways Corporation kicked off today in Embakasi, Nairobi.
The product that Kenya Pipeline handles is highly flammable. We are all aware about that. And it passes through the pipeline system. What has happened is that of late we've had very serious encroachment on the pipeline wayleaves. And this prompted the national government, and more specifically the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Energy and Petroleum, to issue directives that these areas must be cleared.
Kenya Pipeline Company say the evictions follow sensitization forums and multiple voluntary relocation notices. The eviction exercise comes in the wake of increased advocacy for securing pipeline wayleaves.
This particular exercise is the commencement of a series of quite a number of clearances that we intend to undertake as Kenya Pipeline. And the reason why we are taking this particular exercise is because of the safety and the security of our people.
Following oil spill incidents in the past that resulted in fatal fires after leaking petroleum products came into contact with ignition sources. Kenya Pipeline Company plans to enhance surveillance and erect perimeter fencing along the waylifts to prevent encroachments.
And the Kenya Dairy Board has finalized the process of setting the minimum milk farm gate price for the long rain season. Kenya Dairy Board Chairperson Genosis Mugo says the 50 shillings per litre minimum price is still effective until the new prices are certified by the Ministry of Agriculture.
The government last year set milk minimum price at 50 shillings per litre to protect farmers from exploitation from dairy processors. Kenya Dairy Board has reviewed the price. Kenya Dairy Board Chairperson says the new milk farm gate price is meant to shield dairy farmers from fluctuating prices during the anticipated long rains that usually result in a glut.
We've already approved.
And we look at sports now, where rally driver Evans KBC is eager to represent Kenya in the highly anticipated WRC Safari Rally set to be held between the 20th and 23rd of this month in Naivasha, that is in Nakuru County, after missing last year's edition. Partnered with his longtime navigator, Absalom Aswani, KBC aims to improve on his performance from the 2023 event. During that year, he retired from the race due to mechanical problems. Defending champion Kalle Rovanperä and his co-driver Yone Haltunen have confirmed their participation in the 4-day competition, which will feature top drivers such as Elfyn Evans, Terry Novell, or Tanak Takamoto Kasusa and Adrian Fomox. President William Ruto will officially flag off the rally outside the Nairobi County offices before action kicks off at the super special stage in Kasarani.
Few gremlins to start with, but it's typical of this lifestyle. So we are used to having problems every once in a while. But yeah, we're testing the car to just make sure everything is in good nick, and we're ready for the event.
Well, that's where we bring the news to a close this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to start your day with us here on Good Morning Kenya. Good Morning Kenya continues with my colleagues, that is Mike Megwe, Vivian Degwa, and also Victor Olo.